All right, so welcome to the Call for Speakers information session for the 6th Speaking Industry Expo. I am thrilled to see you all here. I am very excited about this. I want to start off by giving you all an overview of the opportunity, why it came about, why I'm doing this in the first place. And then, so that'll be about maybe 30 minutes. So I'll be showing you some stuff. And then I'm going to open it up for questions. So if you have questions, write them down, put them in the chat. I think the Q&A thing is there. I don't know if it's there. Raise your hand. Do whatever you need to do. Don't think that you cannot ask me questions. Ask me any question that you have whatsoever. All right? We on board with that? Okay, great. Okay, so let me talk to you about the 6. When I started, I'll give you a little bit about my background. So for those of you who may be a little bit new to me, I know you may follow me, but don't really know a lot about me. I am a retired employment law trial attorney. This September will be 3 decades, 30 years since I first got sworn into a bar, into the Florida bar. In 2019, I retired from the practice of law to pursue full-time entrepreneurship. While I practiced law, however, I was an arbitrator, I was a mediator, I was an educator. So I taught at places like University of Miami, University of Tampa, St. Thomas University Law School. I have done the things. I've taught the police and corrections academies. I've done all kinds of stuff. And while I was practicing law, the last part of practicing law, I was sitting in a deposition one day. And in that deposition, I was deposing an expert witness. And this expert witness, one of the questions we asked so that we can so that we can muddy the waters for them. Hey, Lisa, so we can muddy the waters is, how much money have you made being an expert witness? And so he said, I was in Tampa, this beautiful building, like overlooking the city. And the floor that we were on, he actually owned that space, right? And I was like, okay. And I said, so how much money have you made doing this? And he said, like, oh, I had asked him for like maybe a 3 or 4 year period. And he said like $3 to $4 million. Right. And I was like, oh, I'm doing something wrong over here because y'all are out here billing me out at like less than $300 an hour. And here you are never having, so it's a doctor. He's never looked at the patient. He's never seen him, don't know him, couldn't spot him if you put him in front of him. All he was doing was reviewing his records. What that showed me, though, was that here's this man who had done all of this work and was doing, right? He was a medical doctor, so that's the doing of the work. But then he figured out how to take what he knew and monetize that, right? And so I call it cash flowing what you know, is really taking what you have in your brain, all of the experience that you have in your brain, and understanding how do you cash flow that. And so that was the start for me of thinking, I got to get up out of here and I got to figure out how I am going to cash flow what I know. So I started on that journey. I started on that journey the end of 2018. And by the end of 2019, when my firm decided that they could no longer afford to pay me, it was like, okay, you go get another job or you go do what you say you wanted to do, which is to cash flow what you know. And that's what I did. And that's what I have been doing. What I have learned in the time, so in the 5 years that I have been doing this full time, is that women, and particularly, sorry, David, particularly Black women, but Black people too, right? And brown people, we don't understand really that this is a business, or we don't treat speaking as a business, right? So what we have done is we're brilliant. We have all these years of experience. I know all of y'all on here have years and years of experience. And then we come into the speaking industry and somebody says, oh, you want to speak on my stage? Yes, I would love to speak on your stage. Great. Guess what I got for you? Exposure. Guess what I got for you? A bag of chips, right? Guess what I got for you? No money. And we say yes. However, if we think about this as a profession, there's no way we're going to say yes because you're not going to any other job and allow them to be like, oh, yeah, you know what? You come work for us for like about 6 months, get some exposure. In 6 months, I'll talk to you about whether I'm going to pay you or not. We ain't doing that. We're not doing that. But the industry has been built that way. The speaking industry around experts has been built that way. And it is something that has bugged me from the very, very beginning when I started in this industry, particularly because I would have people ask me to speak for free when I have 2 decades of legal experience. Like that doesn't make sense to me, right? Now, and this is not the point for it, but there's place spaces that you speak for free and all that kind of stuff, but that's besides the point. So what that did for me is to put me on a journey of trying to figure out how do we change this. I could complain about it, which I have, or I could do something to change it, but I didn't know what I was going to do, right? Beside one thing I did know how to do is to really mentor and be a strategic advisor for women, mostly men too, but for mostly women, and teaching them how to really monetize, how to cash flow what they know. So I've been doing that for years. But this March, I was in Austin for the South by Southwest conference, and they have tons and tons of stuff going on. It's like multi-day. Yeah, it's a lot. And one of the things they have is a big expo hall. So I was in the expo hall and I was walking around just looking, and seeing what was there. And when I walked out of the expo hall, all of a sudden, this thing just dropped into my spirit. And what it said to me was, Kelly, there is no trade show for the speaking industry. There is no place where speakers, trainers, coaches, and consultants come together and you're the focus as a business. There's no place like that. There are conferences that have expo halls, but who's in those expo halls? They're usually vendors trying to sell you something, right? There are showcases, but in those showcases, even though you're on stage, when you get off stage, in the back of the room, you are still going to basically apply for jobs in the back of the room, right? You don't have a table, you don't have a booth, you're not set up as a business for people to come to you. You still have to be going to them. What this does is to keep us in this continuous cycle of being, this is recording, yes, continuous cycle of us showing up as talent or always being the talent and never really stepping back and understanding that our roles are many, right? Especially if we're solopreneurs. We are the CEOs of our business. We're sales, we're finance, we're marketing, we're operations, and we're talent. Talent, though, is talent works for the business. The business has to run and the business has to make money so that talent can keep doing what talent likes to do. So for me, the idea of the 6 is to bring that to the forefront, not just for the industry, right? And for decision makers, because generally when we're in those spaces, conferences, the like, we've probably all spoken at these things, we're usually the only people in the room not being paid. However, we are the people in the room who are providing the value to the other people in the room, right? Based on our expertise and our experience. So it's to shift the industry so that when we have a trade show, when something is a trade, and a trade show, it is a profession, and people who have professions get paid for it. So that's to shift the industry, but it's also to shift ourselves as speakers, trainers, coaches, and consultants. I'll just call us experts as a whole, to understand that we are running a business. And therefore, no, we cannot continue to just be free all the time. And it's a lie if anybody tells you that when you start in this business that you have to speak for free. That's a lie. There's no rules and regulations in this industry. So now we go. So that's a lie. So you can always be paid from the beginning. You just get to decide what that looks like, right? So the 6 came to me from that, and I said I wanted to create this space where we had a business to business growth ecosystem, which I'll show you in a second. And that's the six really actually stands for something. One, I really wanted a nickname for the event. I'm just going to be, honest. I wanted a nickname for the event. So it's called the Six, but it's the Speaking Industry Expo. It's spelled with an X. So it's SIX. So that's the acronym. And the six also stands for the roles of everybody who's in the six. So let me show you that real quick. I think I'm gonna have to let me pull up that other page. So everybody has a role in the six. So I wanted everyone to feel that they were important to the entire event and not just, okay, well, the speakers are important or the vendors are important or whatever. So I wanted to make sure that everybody had a role and that everybody understood their role and understand that in an ecosystem, for an ecosystem to survive and thrive, everybody has to play their part. Everybody has to feed the ecosystem. The ecosystem will feed you back. So can you all see this? Okay. So the ecosystem is made up of six parts. The first part are the experts. So all of you who I'm talking about, and this in this particular part of the six, the expert are those who are going to be on the showcase stage, the IQONIK Talks Showcase stage, which is what we're talking about today. There are sponsors who I get to tell y'all first before anybody else. I'm gonna give y'all a behind the scenes about our presenting sponsor. We just closed that yesterday. The exhibitors, right? So those who are in the expo hall, and sponsors could be exhibitors, exhibitors could be sponsors, but they can be different, right? So I wanted to make sure that we differentiated that. The decision makers, our goal is to make sure that we get decision makers in the room, whether it's people who can hire you for coaching, for training, for speaking, to get those people in the room. And if you know decision makers, let them know because they get to come to the event for free. They have to be vetted and make sure that they actually are people who hire people. However, if they do get to come to the event all the days for free. And then there are the attendees, so people who are not on stage, who are not sponsors, exhibitors, decision makers, but need to be in the room. So those could be also experts who need to be in the room and understand how to actually build this business. And then there's me, the visionary of this, pulling all of this whole ecosystem together. And while my sister is on here, I have to give her credit because she really helped me to develop the idea around the six and pulling everything together. So that's how this came to me. And that is the mission around this. The mission around this is to be the first of its kind, the first ever trade show for experts that is focused on experts, for experts to be able to show up in a room like the businesses that we are, as opposed to the talent, right? Or the help, in some cases as the help. And so that is what this is all about. So where else do I want to go? Who is this for? You all I know. So many of you I know. I don't know everything about you, but I've seen your names and I know what you do. But it's for experts who know that they have, one, a deep level of expertise in some area. Two, that they really want to cash flow what they know. Three, that this speaking is a business for them, not a hobby. And this is whether it is a full-time business or a part-time business, or it's one of those things where speaking, you use it to generate leads for some other business. And that's why I didn't just limit it to speakers, and I included trainers, coaches, and consultants, because we all may use speaking in some way. So anyone who wants to really build an expertise-driven business through speaking, this is for you. You are the type of people who would be on stage for the six at the IQONIK Talks Showcase. So I want to talk to you about what you get, what this is, what the benefits are, because I know, because I've been invited to different spaces. I've been invited to be on showcases, and I've been invited to, speak at different events. And I want to show you the value and the difference around this. This is when we're talking about speaking on the IQONIK Talks stage. This is not just for you to get up there and perform. That's part of it. This is actually a marketing opportunity. This is about marketing yourself and marketing your business. That's why part of this requires you to have visibility in the expo hall. I could have just had y'all speak on stage, but that doesn't help me to close the gap that I'm trying to close, which is that you and the industry look at you as a business. So let's look at where we are. Okay. So let's look at this, because everyone see the page says this is more than a call for speakers. We're good? Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's talk about why you should apply. And I already said who it's for. Why should you apply? You should apply because this is a space where you're going to get to show up on a stage on a day 3 of the event, that is specifically dedicated to this showcase. And let me back up for 1 second and just go through the days. So the event is set up as 3 days. It's really 2 full days and a half day. But day 1 is what we call our mogul day. And that is a masterminding session that's limited to 30 people. Y'all are 12 of them. It's like 32 people. Y'all are 12 of the 32, the people who would be speakers on the stage, right? So that's day 1. Day 2 is what we're calling our business incubator. That's a full day of training, but it's not just training. We're actually having implementation labs. And my focus is that when you come, you don't just get information and take notes like we normally do when we go to a conference. We're actually going to be building things. We're actually going to be creating things so that when you leave, you have assets for your business, right? And we'll be covering the whole idea of CEO versus talent, and really showing you where you need to show up as something other than talent so that talent can thrive. And also we'll be talking about where talent fits into that. But those are the implementation labs. That evening, we're going to have an opening reception, so a lot of fun in the expo hall. The expo hall will open on day 2. Around lunchtime, it'll open on day 2. So people will have all the rest of that time and during that evening to be in the expo hall. And then day 3 is the IQONIK Talks Showcase, which will intermingle maybe some panels or short trainings in that. But the focus of that day is on the showcase and on people then leaving the showcase to go and visit you at your table or in your booth. So it is a dedicated day and a dedicated space for you. So all eyes will be on you on the stage on day 3. And to me, it was very important that happened, that there be a focus on that. That stage is going to give you visibility. Your booth is going to give you visibility. You're going to be able to get professional video and all of that kind of stuff. So let's go through specifically what the process is, and then we'll go through what you get. So I decided that this process should be very intentional. Last year we did IQONIK Talks. We did it with 7 of my clients, so it's a little different this year that it's open to the public. But I was very particular about them. I helped them craft their talks first, and then we put them on stage. I still am looking for that same level of dedication and excellence in anyone who is going to be on the IQONIK Talk stage. I'm very particular about my name. I'm very particular about my reputation. I'm very particular about anything that I allow to align itself with me, right? So we have an application process. It's $25 to submit the application, and we're going to use those applications to vet the people who go on to the next round. So what does that look like? So you submit your application, and the deadline to submit your application is June 16th. June 16th. So that's not far away, right? Once we get the applications, when it closes June 16th, we're going to be reviewing those applications. And by June 23rd, we'll let you know if you're moving to the next round for auditions. We're going to do virtual auditions. Now, here's the thing, y'all. I know that y'all are brilliant, and it's not like you're, singing for your supper. I want to see how you show up. I need to see that you take this seriously and you're going to show up in excellence. This is what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to say whether or not you're oh, she's like the best speaker. No, I want to see how powerful you will show up in a space that's created for you to be able to really position yourself, right? So that's what the auditions are. So they're virtual auditions. Those virtual auditions will be June 28th through the 29th. I'm going to ask you, as I'm going through these dates and stuff, make sure that you're putting these dates on your calendar, especially if you know that you're going to apply, so that when time comes, you're not like, oh, I can't make the audition. You already know. It's over a month away. You already know. And then final selections will be July 9th. So by July 9th, you will know. I have done a truncated process because I want you all to get the full value. Whoever gets to speak on stage, I want you to get the full value of what we're going to be doing with the promotions of this event going forward, right? So we have until, November. And so we want to make sure that if you're selected, that whatever we're doing and whatever is going on, that you get to be a part of that instead of waiting till October or end of September. And you're like, oh, well, nobody even knows. No, we're going to make sure by July 9th. By July 12th, so 3 days later, you'll need to secure either your table or your booth space. You have two options. One, you can pay in full. Just pay it and get it over with. Two, you can do a payment plan. There are payment plans for each of the options. One requires a deposit of $250, another requires a deposit of, I think it's $300. And then it has a flexible way that you can make your payments, but all payments must be done by September 12th. If you're not done by September 12th and we don't have any discussions, you're not going to be on stage. That's just, we're not going to be on stage. If you are selected, the $25 that you paid for the application will be put towards your marketing plan. And if you aren't selected, that will be put towards a ticket if you still want to attend the event, which I would say you definitely should still attend the 6th. So those are the important dates that I need you to be very aware of. And if there's anybody that that you think would be a good fit, then make sure that they're aware of this too. On this page on the website, so this is a call for speakers page, it has all of the details here. So anything, what we expect, all that stuff is here. So let's look at what are the different options that you have. So there are two options that we are providing you in terms of this marketing plan. So one is the Amplify option, which is $750. The other is Elevate. In both, you get a 10-minute talk on stage. I am contemplating, I don't know yet, but we have to look at scheduling. I am contemplating doing what I did last year with my clients, because I think it was good for them. That what I did was I called it IQONIK Moments. So after they did their talks, I interviewed them. So I asked them like maybe, 2 or 3 questions. And that also gets people to know you a little bit better and have you be able to talk about your business a little bit. You'll get 3-day admission to the 6th. So you get the mogul admission to the 6th. For each one, you get a complimentary 2-day general admission ticket that you can give to anyone. The reason that I did this, it's kind of crazy to give away all this stuff, but the reason that I did this is because I know what it's like as a speaker to go to an event and to have a table or doing something. And I'm over here, who's over there? Who's helping me man this over here? Or who's helping me with taking pictures of me or, doing anything? So I want to make sure that you all have this ticket. You can give it to anyone that you want to give it to come and support you. So they could be another speaker that wants to come, or maybe it's somebody who's on your staff or somebody, a family member, whoever, but you are free to give that ticket to whoever you want to give that ticket to. If you do amplify, you will have a 6-foot skirted table in the exhibit hall. If you do elevate, you'll have a booth, an 8x8 booth. So you'll have the curtain behind you, everything. So you'll have an actual booth in the exhibit hall. If you do amplify, you get a 2-minute professional video clip of your talk. You get and if you are in elevate, you get 3 minutes. Video is like, if you don't have professional, I know some of you do, but if you don't have professional video of you, this is like worth the price of everything. And this will be on a big stage. So you'll actually be on a big stage and you'll have big stage footage, which is really good, especially for those of you who want to pursue keynotes. For Amplify, you'll get 1 professional photo, and for Elevate, you'll get 2 professional photos. I'm going to come back to the part about opportunity to earn back your investment. I'll come back to that in a second. You'll get a full page color feature in the 6 event program. So we're going to have a digital program at least. We're contemplating whether we're going to do it in print, but for now it's going to be digital. So you will have a featured page in the program. So everybody's going to get that program. So that's another opportunity for you. I'll be mentioning you all in my newsletter that goes out weekly. If you do Elevate, I'll also interview you on my Speaking podcast, which is on YouTube. So again, you'll have that footage, right? You'll have that to be able for you for your marketing. And then everyone will, for all the speakers, we've set up a private online speaker green room. So once you get selected, we'll be in there doing different things. And that's a way for you all to communicate with each other, to really support each other and help each other out. We will also have, and this is for everyone who is coming to the 6, we have the 6 online community. So that online community is where everybody can come in. It will open on October 1st. So before the event. So this is a way for you to start talking to people, for you to get to know people. If you're coming by yourself, and you shouldn't because you got a free ticket for somebody, but it's a way for you, to already know people when they're coming, when you come to the event. So it's not like just, our sponsors will be in there, our exhibitors will be in there, decision makers will be in there, everybody will be in there. And we already have one sponsor who is going to be providing training. So there'll be additional training that's going to be in there. So we already have confirmed one of our sponsors who's going to be doing that training. And if you're selected, I will provide you with graphics for you to be able to go out there and say I'm speaking and put all that stuff out there. One of the things that we'll also be looking at, so for total for Amplify is $750. It's a value of at least $6,200. It's way more than that, but just conservatively, it's that. And then for Elevate, it's $1,200, value of $7,900. And again, that's a conservative value. One of the things that we're going to be talking about, talking to the photographer and videographer when we get to that point, is about what other photo and video packages would be available. Those would be add-ons. So you could do it or you don't have to do it, but we're going to make that available to you so that if you wanted additional footage, you can do that. So let's talk about, let me just look at, can you all see this page? It says the opportunity is more than the stage. Can you see that? Okay. Mm-hmm. I just wanted you to think about what we just talked about in terms of like categories and how that really makes sense in your business. So one is, let's look at the category of authority and credibility building. Some of you are already out there, like, I understand that, but we can always elevate our influence, especially if some of you are being paid, some of you are not being paid what you should be being paid, and some of you are not being paid at all. Part of that has to do with your positioning. And so the 6 is about making sure that you are powerfully positioned. And so when you think about when I thought about what are the things that I should include, I was looking at how do we powerfully position you and what makes sense? What is the benefit to you? So authority and credibility building, and I'll just go through these really quickly, but if you look at the things, your talk, the photos, the video footage, the color feature. So now you could be like, I was in a magazine, I was on stage, I got interviewed on a podcast, right? These are all the things that you can be doing, and testimonials, right? So the thing about the 6 is a real stage with a real audience with real testimonials. It's not something that we're creating. I'm not creating a set, right? I know that there are lots of people out there doing that and they're charging way more. And eventually this will be way more, but they're charging way more, but they're creating a fake set for you. They're creating a fake atmosphere. This is real, right? This is real life. You can say, I spoke on the IQONIK Talks stage. I was interviewed on the Speaking podcast, which is actually a podcast. I was featured in the IQONIK Talks magazine. All of that, all of this is real, and you will get testimonials from real people. And your name and your image will be on all kinds of stuff as we're promoting the event. So authority and credibility building and influence building is part of what you're going to get. You're going to walk away with real assets. So photo, video, plus the stuff that you're going to be creating while we're in the business incubator. It's about business growth and monetization. So looking at the business incubator labs that we're going to be doing on day 2, the mastermind that we're going to be doing on day 1, having the ability to have your business show up the way you want it to show up. You can decorate your table however you want to decorate. You can decorate your booth. Be powerful, like bring your brand, bring all of it, right? And so that you can generate leads. If you have books, sell them. If you have products, sell them, right? There's some restrictions around stuff that you can bring into the exhibit hall, but most of y'all won't have those restrictions, mostly around food and stuff. The opportunity to earn back, which we're going to talk about in just one second, and you get to bring somebody with you, right? So that's all part of business growth and monetization. You are there to sell your business, to market your business. And so this is very important for y'all to get that. And then visibility and relationship capital, again, being in the expo hall and being there as a business, right? Somebody who was on the stage and now you're here in the expo hall as a business, that will be a game changer for you. The program, the community access, the community will open on October 1st and it will close probably December 31st. It will be open for that period of time. So you could still go back in there. You'll have the green room, like we said. And so this is really about positioning you both as a business and as a speaker. Now, let's go to how you could get your money back. So one of the things, can y'all see this where it says partner incentive program? Okay. So one of the things in this industry is the whole idea of pay to play. And if you think about what I just explained to you, that's essentially what this is. The issue that I normally have with those things is that there's no real value on the back end of it. I'm paying to play around, essentially. I'm not paying to really develop something that is of value to me for my business and that I can either capitalize on and monetize on right then and there, or there is real potential for ROI. And so one of the things that I thought about though is, well, yes, and what if we did something where you all could potentially get your investment back? So we came up with our partner incentive program. Now, for the partner incentive program, you still have to pay your fee up front. You're still going to pay the $750 or you're going to pay the $1,200. However, you will have from the time that you get selected and decide that you want to do this until October 15th to try to earn that money back. And the way that you can do that, remember I talked about the ecosystem. Everybody pours in the ecosystem, it feeds into the ecosystem, it feeds you back. So the way that you can do that is to feed into the ecosystem by getting other people to attend the event. And so what we'll do is, and this is not required, you could just pay the money and be like, I ain't got nothing else to do but mind my business, or you could do this, right? And so what we'll do is give you your own specific affiliate link. You'll be able to tell people about the event, encourage people to purchase their tickets, whether it's a 1-day ticket, there's an opportunity for a 1-day ticket. There's 2 1-day tickets that people can get. There's a 2-day ticket, and then there's the mogul ticket, which is limited. So we only have 20 of those available. But you can get people to purchase that using your link. When you do that, our system will track who is purchasing using your link. So you need to make sure that people are using your link. You will get 10% commission on any 1-day or 2-day ticket that somebody purchases, or you'll get 15% on a mogul ticket. Now, these commissions will be paid net 30, right? And those will be paid during the time, right? So if somebody purchases a ticket today, net 30 days, you'll get your commission. If you got 10 people, you'll get the commission for those 10 people. And we will keep track of that. You have until October 15th. If you're doing the Amplify ticket, you have until October 15th. If you bring in $2,000 worth of ticket sales, which could be very easy. The tickets range, right now they're in launch pricing. So they're from $275 to $950. They'll eventually go up to between $500 and $1,500. So you don't have to sell 50 tickets. You don't have to sell a lot of tickets to get to the number. But if you sell $2,000 worth of tickets, one, you'll be earning your commission as you go along. And then on the back end, if you've gotten to 2,000, whatever the difference is between your commission and your 750, we will reimburse that within 14 days after the event. If you are doing Elevate, which is a $1,200 marketing investment, you have to get to $2,500 in ticket sales, and you will get, and the same thing, you'll get your commissions, and then you'll get on the back end. So say for example, so we put it here, for example, if you get to the 2,000 and you earn $300 in commission, then on the back end, you'll get the difference, which is $450. If you earn $750 or more in commission, you're not going to get anything back because you've already gotten the $750 back. Same thing with the $1,200. If you earn $500 and you'll get $700 on the back end. If you get $1,200 or more in commissions, you won't get anything on the back end because you will already have recouped the $1,200. So you have to get to 2,000 or 2,500 to be eligible for the reimbursement, but you can get any amount to earn commission. And when we're done and you have any questions about that, let me know. There'll also be some bonuses. So if you do the 2,000 or 2,500, that's how you get your reimbursement. If somehow, say for instance, you got people to buy 5 VIP tickets or whatever, right? And you got over 5,000, you will also pay 3-night hotel stay for you up to $600. So that's an additional bonus we'll do. And then if $7,500 or more in sales, you'll get your full 10-minute video and you'll get some additional photos. Okay. So I'll just leave it like that for now with the speakers. If you end up not being a speaker and you still want to do, there's also same type of commission structure, 10%, 15%. The bonuses are just a little different. and there's no required thing. There's no reimbursement on that one. So that's the idea for you to, if you want to recoup your investment, right? That's a way for you to recoup the investment to help us to make sure that the ecosystem has the right people in the room, right? And again, we will continue to feed each other in the ecosystem, and the ecosystem will feed us back. So I know this is a fire hose of stuff, but I want to get through this so that I can then open up the room for questions. So the last thing that there is to do is for you to apply. Apply, because you just never know if you are going to get selected or not. I'm going to drop the link in here in the chat. So it's speakingindustryexpo.com/call for speakers. That is the link where you would apply. Make sure that when you apply that you really focus on the questions that I'm asking, and that you take the time to actually answer them, because that's what we're using. There's no interview, there's no nothing. That's what we're going to use to determine if you move to the next round for virtual auditions. So this is your chance to put your best foot forward, right? Is during the application process. And again, applications are due by June 16th. Once you submit your application, you will get an email letting you know that we received it. If you don't, then you need to reach out immediately and let me know. And again, if you're selected as a speaker, your application fee will go towards your marketing plan investment. And if you're not selected, it will go towards a ticket, whichever level of ticket that you decide that you want to go to, because I think you should show up anyway. So with that, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to shut up, and I am going to open the floor for you all to ask any questions that you have whatsoever. I think I covered everything. Let me make sure that I covered everything I wanted to cover. I did cover everything I wanted to cover. And just let me know. You can unmute, you can raise your hand, you can put it in the chat, but fire away. When and where is the event? Oh, great question. The event is November 3rd through the 5th. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. And the host hotel is the Atlanta Marriott Northeast. Oh, I promised I was going to give y'all a little behind the scenes. So we just got, and this will come out tomorrow, but our presenting sponsor for the event is High Level, Go High Level. Does anybody know Go High Level, the marketing system? So it's a CRM, a customer relations management system, a marketing system that I use it, and that tons of people use. So they are our presenting sponsor, which I'm very excited about. And they will also be doing a 60-minute training during the business incubator, all about marketing and how to use the system. And so that's part of the operations lab that we're going to be doing. So that is huge. And then Captivate, which is a podcast host platform, they'll be doing a training on podcasting, which will be inside of the online community. So we're looking for other sponsors and doing other things, but we're really excited to have High Level on board. So, all right, questions, fire away. Did I do such a good job? Y'all don't have no questions? How big of an audience have you had in the past? I have not done a big event like this for this type of thing. I've had bigger audiences when I used to own a nonprofit and did other types of events. Last year, we did this event virtually, and we had 50 people. So we had 7 speakers who were live with me in studio, and then we had 50 people virtual. Our goal this year is to have 200 people in the room. So 200 people minus the 12 speakers and their 12 people. But that is our goal. Great question. And we'll be doing everything. And this is part of why we're also doing the incentive so that you can help us to fill the room too. It's to your advantage to have people in the room if you're going to be a speaker. We'll be doing everything. If you watch me at all on social media, I'm very much into promoting stuff and branding stuff. And if you saw, I'll show you a quick video about last year's IQONIK Talks if you all want to see that too. But yeah, so we'll be doing everything in our power, working with our partners, working with our sponsors to get people in the room. So that's our goal. Lisa says you've done a remarkable job, pretty impressive. We'll pour over details and requirements and send an update in the next week or so. No problem. Thank you. Do you know what percentage of those speakers booked from the stage? So Phyllis, so this was a different event. Last year was a different event. Last year, what we did, I did it as a leadership conference. They did not book from the stage, and that was not the intention of last year's event. Last year's event was around, it was more for them for visibility and to really get them positioned and get them the marketing assets. It did not have the other additional component. And the reason why is because those 7 women were already in a program with me for a year. They were in a year-long program with me. And but those women have, from being in my program, booked speaking engagements, high 4 figures. I'm not sure if anyone's gotten to 5 figures yet, but they have gotten to 4 figures where they weren't getting paid before. They've been featured as experts in podcasts, in online magazines. One of them, she just got chosen for HR Florida conference, which will both be speaking. They're one of my clients, and that's one of the biggest HR Florida conferences here. So they have been reaping the benefits and, using all of what they've learned. And for them also, the other thing that they got was their full signature talk because we worked with them to develop that.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you're chosen as one of the speakers for the stage, or you are one of the members for one of the 2 packages, will you, and if you have a book, will you have the opportunity to sell?
Great question. So two things one thing I want to clear up first, and then I'll answer your question. So if you are selected as a speaker, it is mandatory that you choose one of the 2 packages. If you're going to be on stage, you must also be in the expo hall in some capacity, either with a table or a booth. You cannot sell from the stage. If you know how to seed, you can seed away. But you cannot sell directly from the stage. However, in your booth, do what you got to do. Sell, right? If you got books, bring them. If you got products, bring them. If you have services, bring them. Like whatever you have, think of it as your storefront. Okay. Right? So now you're on stage, they've seen you. Now so come to my storefront.
Get them there, and then you can take it from there.
That's right. Okay. Right. So I'm giving you that opportunity to be up there so that they can be like, oh, right. And it's whether you're a speaker, trainer, coach, or consultant. And the other thing too is like your topic is your topic. So there's the event itself has a theme, affirm, amplify, affirm, elevate. That's the theme of the event. However, your talk is your talk. So whatever your topic is, Phyllis or Adrian or David or Lisa or Benita, whatever your topic is, that's what you're going to submit to me, that's the topic that you want to speak about. There's no theme that you have to fit within. The idea is for you to get up there and show your expertise. Yeah, so if you have books, bring them. And here's the thing too. You can bring, your books, and then you can also have where you can get people's emails. So do things to generate leads to get people's emails. Maybe just have a QR code so you don't have to travel all that way with a whole bunch of books. Maybe bring, 10, 20 books so that you remember you're going to have 2 days in the expo hall. So you want to make sure that you have enough. that it looks, that your booth and everything looks good. But also, and we'll work on all of this stuff. This is why we're gonna have the green room, because I've done all these things. And so we'll have the green room to really start talking to you about that. Sharonda, who is one of my clients, loves social media, and she cannot wait to teach y'all how to do all the reels and do all the things to make sure that you're promoting yourselves and that you're doing all the things that you need to do before you even get on that stage. So there's all kinds of stuff that will happen in the back of it. But yes, to answer your question, yes, if you have books, if you have products, yes. um let's see, Lisa said, Are companies are companies booking clients from event, or are these solopreneurs seeking services? Lisa, what do you mean?
What I mean is, I typically work for organizations and big companies that hire me for, their whole
Yep,
teams, several departments, all of that sort of thing. Or are these individual?
I got
Gotcha.
both. So the goal is to get corporate decision makers in there, but then there'll also be people who are in the audience who are individual people. Or sometimes we think of people as solopreneurs as not a business, but they're businesses too. And that's the idea, right? We're all businesses. But the goal is to get corporate decision makers in there. So people want to hire for teams, to get association decision makers in there, who, because associations have, millions of conferences. They got all these conferences, and many associations will pay.
Thank
So the idea is
you.
to get a well-rounded group of decision makers in the room. And for them, they get to come to the entire event for free.
Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Any other, and media also gets, if they're a vetted media source, they'll also get to come for free, so that you never know what opportunities are there too if there's media in the room. Any other questions? Who's gonna apply? Yay, Phyllis! Adrian, are you gonna apply? Yeah. David, Lisa, Bonita, are y'all gonna apply? And let me know. And I'm serious about this, y'all. I'm laughing with you all. But if there's, thank you, thumbs up for Lisa. If you have any questions, if you have any reservations, if you have anything that's like, I don't know, because other people who will watch this may have those questions too. So if there's anything, if you're just like, how logistically, how is this going to work? The other thing too is that once you're selected, we are going to have two virtual rehearsals, and at least one is going to be mandatory. I might make both mandatory, but for right now, at least one is mandatory. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make sure that you all are ready, that if you have your questions, that you know what you need to do, like if you have a PowerPoint or anything, I want to make sure that you all feel powerful on that stage. That is my entire mission. My clients will tell you, I always tell them, there's no need to be perfect, but you need to be powerful. And so the idea is to make sure that we're on schedule, that we're on time, that we're not like lagging behind, or if you are, that that we can be like, hey, let's get it together, because you don't want to squander this opportunity. The idea behind the six is that the six is not just a one-time event. My vision is that this is a yearly event that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so, um, as much as as much as for you all to be on stage and for me to amplify you, this really is also to amplify my brand, and elevate my brand. So I'm gonna do what I need to do to make sure it's amazing, and, and that it's excellent. So and if you want to see just a quick video, I have like a 5-minute video from last year of the compilation of the women who were there. I can show that to you. But if you have any other questions, and I'm serious, like anything that might be, I'm open to it.
I do, but I'll pause for some seconds to see if anyone else wants to jump in.
David, I saw that you unmuted. Did you have a question?
No, you answered all my questions.
Okay. Go ahead, Phyllis.
Okay. So my question is for the, I think you said you were going to do some type of, audition. You didn't use the word audition, but for us to submit some type of video.
Mhm. So
Will yes.
go
Can you
go
talk
ahead.
more about that? Like, is that in Zoom? Do you want it full body, 3/4? Like, what are you looking for?
Good question. So on the application, it asks that you submit a video. What I want to see is you speaking. So it does not have to be a professional video. It does not have to be, you're going to be standing on stage. So I would say submit something with you standing speaking. Right? If you don't have anything with you standing speaking and all you have right now is you sitting and you're speaking, because sometimes like a lot of the work that I do is training corporations. So like Lisa, I've done a lot of work training corporations. So a lot of my work is sitting here. I'm not standing anywhere. I'm sitting, virtually on my computer. So if that's what you have, that's what you have. Just make sure that it shows you in a light that I would be like, oh, okay, I can see, right? It's like when I did TEDx, for me to get on the TEDx stage, I had to send them a 2-minute video. What are they looking for? They're looking to see whether that 2 minutes could be extrapolated to 10 minutes and would it be interesting and would people want to see it? And how do I show up? How do I sound? How do I look? Now, I would make it as good as you can make it, but you do not have to go hire somebody, some professional videographer to go. No, you do not have to do that.
Thank you.
Good question. Any other questions? Okay. Do y'all want to see the video?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, hold on. Let me find it. I think it's the have on here. Okay, share sound. Can you see that? I can't see you. So somebody just tell me yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Here we go.
Welcome to IQONIK Talks. This is our virtual leadership conference. We are so excited. We have 7 amazing women thought leaders who are redefining leadership. So what we're doing today is making sure that we really fill your soul, and we're doing that through these micro talks. So 20-minute power-packed talks from these 7 amazing speakers. And the great thing about this is that these women are all my clients. I've helped them to put these talks together. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to be able to amplify them, to elevate them, to affirm their brilliance. And I cannot wait for you to see and experience every single one of them. It's going to be iconic. Let's get it.
I tell you what, we got some powerhouses today. So I'm so excited to have you here. Stay on your grind, don't get left behind, and engage, take notes, because we have a lot of information to share with you today.
You're gonna have to do the work, but when you do the work, you will show up in the way that you'll see them show up here today. So
I've been working with Kelly since September. She has transformed my speaking business. She has helped me find my voice and my signature talk.
This has been an experience where I've experienced with 6 other women, and we as 7 women have showed up and showed out. This journey, I proved it. This journey, I endured it.
So Drew becomes an advocate for change. Yeah, they may say Drew's a rabble rouser, but he stands for purpose. And standing for purpose sometimes make you stand alone.
I see y'all out there. I see you. I see you soaking in all this knowledge. So I'm gonna need more fires in the chat. Come on.
Kelly knows that I talk a lot about purpose, and for me, this has meant that I am now walking in my purpose, and I'm walking it out.
The way we crafted the talk, the way we got to the why, we got to my why. And when you know your why, then things become easier.
there was a light bulb that went off for me when I realized speaking is something that I enjoy doing. And I said, you know, if I'm committed to myself and I'm believing in myself and I wanted to invest in myself, I knew that I needed to invest in someone that's doing the thing that I wanted to do.
About this one, reputation. How many of us are sitting at home right now, not being our highest and our best self?
Kelly and Lisa, and as well as these amazing colleagues I have here, amazing women in this group, is that they also wouldn't allow me to not rise to the occasion every single time.
It's been a very stretching opportunity because I like things to be perfect. I want, when I show up, I want it to be done well. And so for me, that means taking a lot of time, making sure it's massaged. But I know that I needed someone to stretch me.
I was in a space where I was making $17,000 a year. I was being told that I made too much money to be on food stamps. I was told that I made too much money to have childcare. And because of that, I used to take him to work with me in his carrier and put him under my desk. On October 22nd, 2019, when they told me that they could no longer afford to pay me, it took me back to that time where they felt like everybody was always, oh, it's too much, you're making too much. And I decided on December 31st, 2019, when that last paycheck was coming in from that law firm, that never again would I allow somebody to tell me that I made too much.
You have got to have a personal brand. You have to know, people have to know you for something and know you for the thing you want to be known for, not the thing that they've created. And so part of what we teach inside of Thought Leader Circle when I work with my clients is about authority elevation. And unlike Thought Leader Circle, which is only for women, the IQONIK Network is open to everyone.
IQONIK Talks!
Oh. You don't need that part. So that was last year's IQONIK Talks. And a couple of things. One, that was virtual. So they were in the virtual studio with me. This year, you'll be live on stage in person in a big ballroom. So imagine, you see what they got. That's what they got. And that was amazing to be in that studio because that's the studio like all the big, big wigs use for all of their webinars and stuff. But now it'll be live in person. So that's one thing. A couple of things I want to talk to you about. Two of the people in there. So Sharonda, the person the woman that you saw as the MC, that's Sharonda. Sharonda came to me and Sharonda had never spoken before. And she started working with me. We developed her signature talk. Sharonda has now spoken in Dubai, in France. Next week, this week, she'll be in San Francisco. And what she's done with her talk is to really leverage her talk to be able to get tens of thousands, multiple tens of thousands of dollars in funding for community projects. So what I want you all to understand too, and why we're doing the business incubator is for all of us to understand that when I say cash flow what you know, there's so many ways to cash flow what you know, and it's not just on stage, right? So the stage is just one way. And then Tawana, who was in the black jacket and said that I stretched her, she had never spoken before. And so we helped her develop her talk and put her on stage. And all the women there, they have all their different stories and they've, been going on to get paid because I make them put a comma and zeros in their in their pricing. But yeah, so that was the stage last year. And this year is going to be like just crazy. Crazy. So any other questions, anything? We're good. Everybody's good. All right. The Let me explain to you how so like I said, you can either pay in full. So once you get selected, we'll give you the link. So you can pay in full or pay as a payment plan. The payment plan, the way that it's set up so that you understand how to use it if you decide to do the payment plan. Depending on your which plan you choose, which marketing plan you choose, you'll have a set deposit amount. That deposit is required for you to secure your spot. So if you don't secure your spot by the day, I might follow up with you, but then we're moving on to somebody else, right? Because we got to make sure that everything is moving. We're using a system called Partially. So how it's set up in Partially is that Partially knows how much money you have to pay, right? It knows the total amount that you have to pay, and it knows by when you need to pay that amount. And so you get to go in and you can decide if you want to pay weekly, bi-weekly, 3 times a month, 4 times, or monthly, right? So you can decide, and I think it allows you to switch up within the time. It will just adjust your balance, but it must be paid off by September 12th. So it just gives you a little bit more flexibility on how you do it, but there is an actual deposit that gets it started, and you can't move the deposit date. You have to do it on that day, and then it will calculate the balance based on that, and then you can adjust the frequency. That's the word I'm looking for. You can adjust the frequency of your payments, but nothing beyond. It won't let you go beyond September 12th. It has to be paid by that day. Okay. Anita, any questions?
You've answered them.
Okay.
Questions that I would have. I just have a comment to say that, I think you've hit on all of the buzzes of as women, as Black women and Black men. We undervalue ourselves, and society does as well, and we don't capitalize on the knowledge that we have. We are constantly speaking for free. We are showing up and paying either in gas, either in time and effort. So we are at a deficit when we show up.
Yeah, absolutely. And Benita and I have known each other since I was 20 something years old. We were public defenders together. So we've known each other for over 2 decades. So I know, right? And Adrian's saying it'll stretch you. It will stretch you. But you heard Tawana. Tawana had never spoken. Tawana's a global HR professional. She's brilliant, but she'd never spoken on stage. And my sister and I, yes, we stretched her to her limit. And she was the very first speaker. So somebody who had never spoken, and she was the very first. She opened the IQONIK Talks last year. And so what you need to know about me, my sister will be there too. What you need to know about us is that yes, this is an event, and yes, this is a revenue generating event for my business. And yes, so there is money, right, involved in it for me. But deeper than that for me is the idea of ensuring that women's value is not erased. David, yours too, but ensuring that women's value is not erased. And so I will do what needs to be done to ensure that you show up, but you have to do your part. Right. And so I will make sure that the environment, that the stage, that everything that I have promised you is done in excellence, and you need to come there in excellence. That's what I ask of you, right? That's my expectation if you're chosen, is that you come in excellence. And Adrian, for you, don't worry, girl, we got you. Like if you're selected, we got you. We will make sure that you show up powerfully. That's why we're going to have the green room. So from the time that y'all are selected, we'll have that green room. So, whatever, if you need support, all those things will be there for you. And so don't worry about that. Just what you have to just decide is, I want to be on that IQONIK Talk stage. So what do I need to do? The first step is to apply. And so, just make sure that you do that. And to Benita's point, we don't take advantage of opportunities that come to us. We try to figure out all the why I shouldn't. Like, why I shouldn't do that, or, well, who is she, or, how many, and don't worry about all that. You can't worry about those things, right? You just need to show up. Because even if there was only one person in that room, if that's your one person that's looking for you to give somebody a six-figure contract, and you decided you didn't want to be there because it may only be one person in that room, that's on you. Right? We can only show up in the power of who we are. We have to show up powerfully in the places that align with the vision that we have for our life and for our business. Right. And it took, I'm telling you, for me, like, to make this a pay to play it had to be a shift for me, because it's not something that I do. But I wanted to make sure that on the back end of that, or even in the midst of it, that you were seeing the ROI, that you were always, that it's always there. And like I said, you can earn the money back, or you could just be like, no, I'm just going to invest and I'm just going to focus on something else. It's your choice. You get to do that. But we have to get to a place where we start to take responsibility for our own businesses, for our own vision, and stop waiting for other people to give us permission. Stop waiting for other people to validate who we are. One of the things that my sister taught me when I came into this business, and that I was pushing back against, a couple of things. She taught me a lot, but two really big things. One is I was trying to run away from the fact that I'm a lawyer, right? And I never wanted to say I'm a lawyer and all the things. And she said, you have to take on everything. If y'all have degrees, if y'all have whatever it is, honorifics, put them all out there. Like, claim all of them, right? Because people listen to you differently. And then second, I didn't want to ever say that I was an expert. I was like, no, I'm not supposed to say that. Other people are supposed to say that. She was like, who the hell said that? Like, no, if you're an expert, say it. Because if you don't claim it, nobody else is who's gonna. And the minute that I made those shifts, game changers for my business. The minute that I understood positioning, like I put a post out today on my LinkedIn, and it had a video of me. Did you see it, Adrian? From 2018. And what I tell y'all is things that I've done. I promise you, is things that I've done, that I know, that I didn't just read this stuff, but I showed you, like, in 2018, when I was still practicing law, thinking about this business, I had a list of like 5 or 6 topics. And that was some of them that I was like, I'm gonna talk about this and this and this and this and this. And until I understood the power of positioning. And so I have been talking about positioning since I started working with other experts. Now I see everybody's coming around to talking about positioning. Oh, it's your positioning. Oh, I've known that for a long time. It's your positioning, right? And so it is the positioning. And I know so many times I'm doing a master class on the 22nd. So y'all should come to that. It's free. How to find and book paid speaking engagements. That's the question I get asked all the time. But you can find them all the time, all you want to. You're not going to get booked if you're not properly positioned. So, but that's what they ask. People ask me all the time. So I'm giving people what they ask for. But you'll see that in order to really sustain that, you have to be positioned. And this is a huge positioning play, to be in Atlanta, to be on stage, to be in front of all these people, to get the footage that you really need, to get testimonials. I did a talk, a keynote the other day, 20 minutes. It was 20 minutes, and I got 61 testimonials. Imagine, like, what these are things that you can then leverage, right, in conversations, in sales conversations. And so what we're going to be looking at is, how do we take all of the things that we're learning and all of the things that we're getting, and not just put them in a notebook, but how do you leverage them to go and cash flow what you know? How do you take it and create? I have books. All my books are behind me, and products and all the things. If you want to do a YouTube show or a podcast, I used to publish a magazine, all the things. I've done it. I've done it. And so my goal is to really show you what's possible, but you have to show up in the space for you to get it. That's it. So it's almost 8:30, so I'm gonna let y'all go if you don't have anything else. You could ask a question or just say something like how, let me ask you this. How what made you come tonight? And what would make the opportunity like valuable to you? Like what would make this a no-brainer for you?
I can go first. This is Lisa.
Okay.
Curiosity. You sent me an email and said, we're going to start in 15 minutes. I'm like, did I miss something on my calendar? Let me go see what this is. That's real true. And I was on the road. So I
Ah,
rushed home, and that's why I was a few minutes late to get home so that I could hear it and see what was going on. So that I've seen your stuff. I believe in what you're doing. What was the
awesome.
second question?
Just like if you decide to do this, or what would make it a no-brainer for you to be like, yeah, I want to be involved in this on stage in the and oh, the other thing too, even if you're not a speaker, or if you don't want to speak, but you do want to have a booth in the exhibit hall or a table, you can do that. You
Well, I'm
can
a
do that
speaker
separate
and
from
a
speaking.
facilitator and a coach and all of those things. So I don't have a problem with that. So
Mhm.
I think it would be a game changer. I like to be in the company of people. So the in-person aspect
Yeah.
is definitely enticing because you can't, chemistry is not something you can make up. It exists or it doesn't. And it's kind of where I shine. That's my most authentic self. So
Yeah.
that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else?
I, well, first of all, I saw you, I've known you, but I
Yes.
saw you in your element at the Florida Bar Convention. And it was a treat because I didn't know that you were going to be there to facilitate it in the group that I was coming in for the luncheon with. So it was a treat to see you in action going through what you were going through. I was like, wow, look at Kelly. Look at Kelly. And I remember when the year 2000 was coming in. I don't know if you remember this. When I said, ladies, we need to get together and we need to start an organization so that we can speak to those that are running for judges because we
Hmm.
saw them on the different end so that if we come in with a position of power, we can do this. And we met for a couple of times, but we did not follow through on it. And so one of the things that intrigued me was having saw you in that element. You sent me an email dealing with it, and I have been trying to now figure out what is my next. I've did the law thing. I'm, with the public defender's office and criminal law. I've done civil law. I've run for judge. Um, so what's the next? And I put together a proposal and I pitched it to the radio station. And they were like, you need to pay for the space on this. I'm like, what? But we think it's a great idea, and they're trying to leverage my idea, but they want me to pay for the airtime for it. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with being at a deficit. It's time to be paid, and marketing is where I lack. Even though my major in undergrad was public relations and criminal justice, I lack in the marketing and promoting myself
Hmm.
and promoting myself.
Yeah. And that's when we think about I laugh all the time because like Sharonda will say, Kelly, you need to show people like more of your life. I said my life is boring. It's sitting here marketing, trying to figure out all the stuff about my business, right? As a speaker, a lot of what we do is marketing. Most of what we do is marketing. What being on stage or being in front of our in front of clients or their teams, that's like a very small part of what we do. And so understanding this part of it and really positioning yourself well makes it easier to be able to do that. Like when I really understood positioning when I came out of the practice of law, and I posted this today, because I had gotten away from that laundry list and had narrowed down my focus and honed in on being an unconscious bias expert at that time when George Floyd was murdered, and companies were looking for people to do listening sessions. I had done probably the first listening session that anybody did, because George Floyd was murdered on the 25th. I think we learned about it a couple of days later, and within a day or so, I had my own listening session for white people. I was like, "Come, white people, I'm gonna answer your questions." And I sat on Zoom with them for 2 hours and answered questions about, what was going on. But because I had positioned myself, because I had, really leaned into the fact that I was an expert in this area, and that as a retired trial lawyer in employment law, that this was really my wheelhouse. My phone couldn't stop ringing and emailed it, right? So then people just kept coming to me. And so when you're positioned powerfully, that's what happens. You become an attraction, right, magnet, as opposed to always having to pitch. And obviously now, the world has shifted around those topics. And so there's more pitching that has to be done on my end in my business, but still, like, a I have built a brand, and I have the assets for people to be able to go see, and I have the testimonials of people, right? So it's not just me saying I'm an amazing person, which I am, an amazing speaker, but there are other people, right, who say that. And so the ability to have testimonials as part of this, that's third party validation. To be on my podcast, that's third party validation. To be on stage, that's third party validation, right? Those are the things that we need for people to believe. We know that, right? People believe. They're not going to believe you, but they'll believe whoever. They don't even know that person, but it's a different person and they said it. So, those are part of the important things. And, to Benita's point about not being paid, when we're not paid, it doesn't mean that we don't pay. So, even though we're thinking of these pay to play, we generally think of pay to play sort of like what this is in terms of investing upfront. But when we speak for free, we're actually paying to play. We're just paying out of our own pocket and getting nothing necessarily in return for it, or no clear return, because we still have to pay for our flights and our hotels and our food and our hair and our outfits and all the things that we have to do in order to get to that place to get on stage. And so it's never really, it's free for them, it's not free for you. Any other thoughts about why you came and what will make it valuable, and then we'll go. I'm trying to understand so that I make sure that I answer questions or any type of like rub that anybody may have.
Well, I'll go.
Mhm.
So, actually, someone tagged me in your call for speaker. And so it was really curiosity. And part of the reason why she tagged me was because the conversation that I had been having with her was that I was ready to kind of step out and start speaking. I've spoken over the years, and then I'll kind of go back into my hole. But then I'll start having dreams and visions that I'm on stage speaking. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and take the leap of faith. And I'm just going to pursue it this time and stick with it. So when she tagged me, I was like, okay, it's a sign. Let me just go ahead. Okay, God, I'm going to answer the call. So that was how I found out about this.
Good. So just do it, right? Just do it. Because you know what's going to happen? This thing is going to happen regardless, right? It's going to happen November 3rd through the 5th. And no problem, David. Thanks, David. It's going to happen regardless. And so 6 months from now, you could be back again being like, oh, I want to be on the icon. I wish I had done it. Okay, well, then it'll be a year from now, probably, right? It'll be another year. So that'll be a whole year and a half. So what I can tell you is that you're in good hands, right? What I can tell you is that I will show you the good, the bad, the ugly. of this business, I will do everything in my power to make sure that you shine, um, and that you're cared for in the process. Um, so I would tell you, I would say do it. Right? Submit
You'll
to
get
at
it.
least, see.
You'll get it.
No, if you keep getting the signs, or they say they'll God will keep nudging you and then he'll thump you in the head.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So thank you for that. When you say, let me just ask you this because somebody else may be thinking this too. When you say it's going to stretch you, what does that mean? And what can we do to ensure that in that stretching that you show up powerfully?
So two things. Well, probably more than two things.
That's okay.
One is I have a tendency, I think I process as I talk. And so I shy away from a lot of speeches unless I have everything written out because I tend to drift. And so staying on topic is always something I'm like, oh, this sounds good too. So I shy away from talking for that one reason. Another reason is just self-confidence. Depending on how I feel at whatever space I'm in life, I will shy away from talking, and that's just, that's something I'm working on. Those are the main two reasons why. Oh, and the third one is because I'm rebranding. I started years ago when I relaunched my coaching. I had written a book and I got discouraged because I didn't market it. Marketing is, I always tell people that's not my lane, and I'm okay with it. And so I'll just sit back here in my corner and coach people. But I've met some people who were like, no, Adrienne, you got to advertise the book. And I was like, I mean, I did, but actually I really didn't. I told a few people and left it at that. And so they were like, well, no, just go ahead and put it back out there, relaunch it. No one has to know. And so that's what I did. And they were just like, oh my God, you could do this with it, this with it. And I'm going, thought hadn't crossed my mind. I just put together this planner because this is what helped me. I wasn't thinking about, I was thinking about the audience, but I wasn't thinking about anything bigger than that. And they just kept throwing things at me. And I was like, oh, I said, well, you know what? Okay, Lord, so I prayed about it. I said, actually, I can see how to expand this. So now I'm actually kind of also pivoting at the same time. So when you talked about just having the different topics, I have several topics. But then for some reason, I hesitate with them because I'm like, that's probably not where I am right now. And so those are kind of like just getting my signature topic is the other one. So crafting that is what's going to help me.
Okay.
Because I have several.
So crafting signature talks is my jam. It is one of the things that I do best. My sister and I have developed our own proprietary system called the Signature Talk Black Print. And so all the talks that you saw those women, every single 7 of them in a 4-month period, we developed all of their talks and put them on stage. They did not have any of those talks. So the Signature Talk experience is something that we do in order to help you craft your talk. So one of the things I'll say to you is that if you want to have a conversation around that, a different conversation, we could have a conversation around that. And we generally do it. It could be done online. It's better to do it in person, but we've done it online. You have more than enough time to get it done in order to, deliver a signature talk on the IQONIK Talk stage. So for now, still apply. It could be something that you decide to do or not do in terms of the signature talk. But if you do it and that's what you decide that you're going to do on stage, that's fine. If it's not even what you may have gotten selected for, that's fine. So we could talk about that and how that could work. But yeah, that's what I do with my clients all the time is craft their talks when we use the process. And then what you'll be able to do with that is to all those things that they were just telling you, you could do this, you could do this. The system is built for you to be able to do that, for you to be able to then take your talk and leverage it in any to all these, like you see all my books and guides and all the stuff. It's all built around signature talks. And then I just take them and I build products and I write books and I, create courses and I do all that great events, right, around it. So it's a system that you can use over and over again, but it helps you. The other part that you said that you have to write it down. The way that we help you build talks, you'll never have to write it down. Never. You'll never have to memorize it. So Sharonda, who you saw, when she went to Dubai, that was her first time ever speaking on stage. It was an international engagement. And when she got there, first of all, her luggage was lost. It wasn't there. She had to wear her husband's outfit from her husband. And then when she got on stage and started doing her talk, the lights went out. Her PowerPoint went down. And she said she just saw my face and she heard my voice and she did her whole talk. And there's a testimonial, which I'll post at some point during the promo of this, where there was a guy and he said, he was raving about the fact that when the lights went out, she just kept going like it was in her. And that is the thing that we teach you around your talks, is to make sure that the talk is internalized so you don't have to memorize it.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be able to be on that stage with that 10 minutes. You wouldn't even need a PowerPoint if you didn't need it, if you didn't want to. So yeah, so let me know, message me, and then we can jump on a call. I'm going on vacation Wednesday till Monday, but other than that, we can chat.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, I keep saying I'm gonna tell y'all bye, but we still staying on here. So Lisa, let me ask my sister. Lisa, I don't know if she can talk.
Yes.
Do you want to say, not Lisa Bishop, Lisa, but you can be my sister too. Lisa Charles.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Did you want to say anything?
No, I mean, I'm glad to see, everyone on the call and listening to what you're talking about. You know, when Kelly came to me and, told me that she wanted to do this event, and just knowing who she is and what she's up to in the world, is how we listened and talked through coming up with the six. The whole point of it is that there's lots of things happening in the world right now. And one of the most powerful things that people are dealing with is trying to identify what is the purpose for their life. Like, what is this all about? You know, if I can do anything to make a difference, what would that be? Right. And it's a lot of what drives people into being speakers, because you're putting out into the world something that you're hoping that will make a difference for the people that are listening to you, and that you will have the opportunity to shift humanity on the planet in a way that you believe will be something that makes a difference for as many people as possible. And so inside of that commitment, when you come to engage with Kelly and what she's up to, and by default, when you engage with Kelly, you engage with me. We're really listening for how to help you craft your talk in such a way that it actually speaks to your purpose and your why, and why you're out there trying to make a difference for humanity. We're not trying to make you do some generic talk. We're not trying to make you create some talk that we think is marketable. We're saying that you become marketable when you're your authentic self. And so our goal is to get you out there speaking authentically.
And so when you show up on that stage, you show up how you show up. Like I show up in Converse, right? That's what I wear, and that's what I'm gonna be wearing on that stage. So you get to come as you are. You get to come as your full self, in the power of who you are. That's what the 6 is about. All right, y'all. I gotta go pack. I have not packed.
Enjoy.
I will. I'm gonna pack for my vacation. If you come up with any questions, you can respond to the emails I've sent you or go on my DMs on any of the social media. I will always answer on there. I look forward to seeing your applications come through. Remember, for anybody who's watching this on replay, the deadline to apply for the 6 showcase, the IQONIK Talks Showcase at the 6 is June 16th. Get your application in. There is everything that you need to know about the event is on the website. So go to speakerindustryexpo.com. It's XPO. Everything is on there. If you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be an exhibitor, if you just want to be in the room, if you are a decision maker and you are looking for a curated room of brilliant experts that you can bring onto your conference stages, bring into your organizations to train your employees to really create an impact, then you'll want to be in the room, and you get to be in the room for free. So come on in, media, if you want to come and cover and see what we are doing to really change the world and change the game of speaking, then you also get to come in for free. For everyone
Kelly,
yes.
sorry. Repeat the website, because I think you said speaker and not speaking.
SpeakingIndustryXpo.com. Speaking with the ING. Industry Expo with just the XPO.com. And I'll make sure I'll edit this and I'll put the banner across so that you can see it. But I would love to have you. Anybody who's thinking about being on the stage, please submit your application so that we can review it. We only have 12 spots, and we really only have 12 spots. And we want to make sure that we get all our speakers by July 9th so that you have the opportunity to really enjoy and reap the benefits of all the promo that we are going to be doing with this event. So it starts, like, your ROI starts immediately. As soon as you're selected, it starts, and you get as much out of it as you put into it. This is an ecosystem. You got to feed it so it feeds you back. Other than that, let me know if you have any questions. You can DM me. You can email us at team, TEAM, at speakermoguls.com. We'll answer all of your questions. And until next time, take care, y'all. Have a great night.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.